We have a quorum, I mean, there's Brandon.
Well,
Okay.
So,
So Adam, will you be presenting? Is anyone from Michael's office going to be on the call?
no, I don't think so. No, they're not going to be on.
Okay, so you were approved a couple of months ago, if not last year. for an
Right.
addition. So now you're returning with revised plans. Do you want to share your screen?
Yes. Let me figure out how I can do this. Yep.
If you have trouble, let me know. I can share mine. Oh, you got it.
I think I'm good. Do you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, everything is nothing. The only thing that's changing is the portico design. The original portico design was a copper roof, and we wanted to make it more in line with the rest of the house and the A-frame here. So that's the only change. It's this up here, as opposed to the copper roof. The columns, I don't think changed at all. The placement of the columns. Let me see if I can scroll down to the front of the house.
Daddy?
Jack, can you, yes, sorry about that, guys.
Do you have any chance, do you or Daisy have an image of what was previously approved, just so we can kind of do it?
Yeah, let me, sorry, I didn't have that up here. Let me pull that up. Let's see here. Oh, there it was.
There you go.
Let me zoom in a little bit there. So that, yeah, this is what was previously approved. This is a revision, so it went from a copper roof to an asphalt, but this was the design.
Okay.
I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on, you know, changing it to the A-frame versus this. What your thoughts are?
Comments? You guys have any comments?
I think it works either way.
Screen?
Comments?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, either seems fine, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this one's a little more subtle, actually, but I think either one is fine. There's certainly lots of precedent for, you know, gabled portico.
Stop touching.
Right.
Up the volume.
So the revision was changing it to an A-frame roof?
Leave it to
Well,
me.
the gable, I don't like.
Gable, sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
That's the revision, yep.
I think it fits in personal preference, whichever, you know, you feel better towards.
Okay. Cool.
That's it?
I think that is it, yeah.
So are you picking one over the other, just so?
Yeah, I think we're gonna do the gable. If you guys are okay, if you're good with that.
Yeah.
That was our preference.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay,
It'll be
cool.
fine.
Yeah, that's it from our end.
You're all set.
Thank you. You're approved.
All right. Thanks, guys. Sorry for my sons jumping on the call.
No worries.
All right.
Always good to have help. Yeah,
Have a good one, guys.
right.
Okay. So the next application is actually 2 Wolf's Hill Road, which is a Michael Picarillo. Or is the homeowner on? For 10 Wolf's Hill Road? No? Okay, so let's skip on to the third application, which is a return of the sign for 91 Bedford Road. I have Joseph and Bill Spade. Anyone else, Bill?
I think it's just Joe's here.
Okay.
How are you all doing? JJ, hi, how you doing?
Good, thanks.
Okay, so he's returning, the board had asked to look at the sign with the texture and engraving and the thickness, and so you want to present, Bill?
Yeah, I'll share my screen. do you see the rendering of the elevation of that building?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, great. And so this is about the tenant signage. And you saw pretty much the same rendering. Last time, we had labeled the signs to be flush signs with applied lettering. And you all wanted to see more engraved style signs. And so we're showing now to do the sign panels out of high density urethane, which is the material that's now, I guess, pretty much replaced wood for engraved signs. The HDU is a much more durable, long-lasting material, but they engrave them the same way that that they do wood signs. So it's a engraved lettering. We're proposing a white lettering in these colors on the panels, and so the sign thickness is 2 inches, and the letters are engraved into that panel thickness. That's the monument sign that'll be out near the driveway into the building. And
Is the 91 Bedford at the top of that monument also engraved in the same way?
that's correct. That's correct. Yeah, so all the signage would be engraved. And then this showing the building signage. We have 3 gables on the front of the building, actually 4 gables on the front of the building, 3 for tenants and 1 for, as this one showed, the building entrance. That'll also be engraved signs in these gables. So I think that was just the request that they be engraved, and the color scheme remains the same.
These sign panels they have here, are these flush? Are they cut into the?
It's a
wood? Are they
separate-
wide? Are they?
So the ones on the building,
Yeah, it was hard. I think one of our questions is we didn't really understand it. Yeah.
okay, these are applied panels to a fascia that's already existing. So this would be that same thick panel that would be engraved and applied and hung on the face of the fascia. Does that explain, Bob?
Yeah, I guess so. So it's an imply, how thick is it? It's also 2 inches.
2 inches, right?
Mhm.
I mean, they're made to replicate what were wood signs, the way you would, the thickness of wood and how you would engrave the wood. And now it's done with this HDU material. Much longer lasting. You don't have rotting wood. You don't have peeling paint. So a much more durable sign.
Right. Okay. Travis, Brandon, anything?
No, look, yeah, I mean, seems fine.
That's a handsome monument sign. Looks nice.
Yeah, it addressed what we discussed, so.
Okay. You're
Great.
approved. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm staying on.
For the next one. Bye, JJ.
Bye, thank you.
So the next application is for 392 Sawmill River Road.
And that's me also. So this application is an accessory building to the principal home. You saw the principal house a couple of months ago and approved that for a 2nd-story addition. And the property had this, and by the way, you can see my screen? I'm still sharing, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Here's the property in the middle here, circling it. There was a principal residence that previously was a 1-story house, and then an accessory building that was built in the mid 1980s that was originally a garage and then permitted to be a detached accessory building, 1-story. And that accessory building actually collapsed due to a boiler explosion about 1.5 years ago. That happened to the prior owner. So the new owners bought the property with that, just the foundation existing for this accessory building, and started the renovation on the principal residence, and now are looking to get the plans approved to start reconstructing the accessory building. I'll show you, here's a photograph from Google, thankfully had what the building looked like before it got blown up. And you see it's a very simple sort of ranch style home. The rules we're working under here, the building was approved in setbacks and as an accessory building. If we're required to rebuild the existing structure, and Tom can speak to this if you need to hear from him. We're required to rebuild this existing structure within a 2-year time period from the time it came down, in order to be able to just go straight to building permit and rebuild it. If we were to pass that two-year period, or if we were to propose a different configuration for the building, we would have to go back through the planning board process for approval of the accessory building. So the owner wanted to rebuild this one-story building. The grade actually falls away to the back, so there's a exposed basement at the back, but it is a one-story building. These are plans from that original construction in 1985. And again, it replaced a garage that was in this spot. You can sort of see it dashed in this plan. And I'll just cycle through these plans, and I'll show you our plans, which is essentially replicating this. So it's a 1-bedroom structure on the 1 floor with an unfinished basement underneath, a living room, a kitchen, and a bathroom. And these were the beautiful elevations that were drawn for that building. Thankfully, they built it in a little bit of a nicer fashion than the drawings indicated. So these are now, I'm going to show you our plans that were filed. Building is the same footprint as the prior building. And you can see it's within side yard setbacks and where it's getting constructed. I'll show you the floor plan first. So there's the unfinished basement. You can widen this view and see both at the same time. So it's that same 1-story structure at grade to the front, kitchen, bedroom, bathroom. There was a stair, interior stair in that structure that didn't show on the original plans, but the stair was still there when we found the property. So somehow in that plan was a stair to the basement. So we're constructing that in the front of the living room to sort of take the least amount of space and be able to reconstruct that floor in pretty much the same configuration that the original plan was. And the basement remains an unfinished space with mechanical. And then I'll show you, you kind of see maybe all the elevations at one time, particularly the front elevation. So if you remember here, I'll flip back up real quick. There's the photo of the front of the house, the living room space to the left, and the kitchen in the front on the right, on either side of the front door with a gable. Instead of so in reconstructing it, we wanted to do a double window for the living room instead of that narrow window with the main picture window, and then still the one kitchen window, the entry door with a gable with 2 posts. So otherwise the rest of that structure is matching the prior structure. There's the rear elevation with windows in the bedroom, windows at the back of the living room, and a door in the basement. and the side elevations, only the right side had a window, and that was for the kitchen. Actually, the right side of the kitchen got a second window. But otherwise, that's matching the existing building. Here's photos of the principal residence. As I mentioned, you all approved the second story addition. So that's the progress of the second story addition from a couple of weeks ago. And then actually this rear photo shows the foundation of that accessory building that was left after the boiler explosion, and the stairs you see there. Here's a kind of odd, the Google photo of the house to the left, one house north on Sawmill Road. It does not have a double gable. It's a single gable. That's just the photo from Google View that created a sort of double image, but that's a sort of arts and crafts style house to the left. This is the house to the right, simple, essentially one-story house with dormers for a second floor, very, very obviously shielded by a lot of trees. And then the house across the street is up there on the hill. Can't even see it straight on, but from the angle you see that it's up there again, a kind of one-story house with dormers for a second floor. And so those are the neighboring homes, and that's my presentation. I can flip back to the elevation here, and any questions?
I'm confused. So the prior approval was for the accessory house and you're coming in for the original house, is that right?
No, the other way around. The prior approval was for the principal residence to add a second story to it, and this is for the accessory building.
Yeah, I think the task was to build it back the way it was, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you've got it replicated pretty well.
Yeah.
Is this for a resident or for a builder? Is there
It'll
any
be an
reason-
accessory, it'll be an accessory, a tenant. They'll rent that space out to a tenant.
So is there any reason that since times have changed and people live differently, that we don't put more windows on the house? I realize that maybe there weren't windows back in the day, but today people enjoy windows and it certainly
Yeah.
looks nicer. Is there any reason the basement couldn't get one big window and the sides of the house couldn't get windows? It would certainly be nicer inside the house and outside the house.
Yeah, I feel like we're covered in terms of the main floor living space, particularly on the rear, which has beautiful views, with the windows that are there. The living room has, 2 windows in the rear, 2 windows in the front. The bedroom has 2 windows facing the rear. The side wall of the bedroom needs to be fairly solid because that's where the bed's going to go. So
Well,
my own
I'm sorry,
feeling
you
is
can-
it's got plenty of windows.
well, the north elevation doesn't have a whole lot of windows.
Correct. But that's the side wall of the living room.
Which room? Okay, so
Yeah, here.
and is that stair going to be there? It is going to be there, right?
That stair's we're building that stair there, yes.
There couldn't be any windows on that side. You're a skillful architect. You're very, you're responding to your client and trying to say the right thing, but I think that some fenestration would make the house more attractive for the community.
That I won't argue with you there. They're cost sensitive, so I don't feel it was my place to say, I'll add windows just for the aesthetic character of it. If you feel strongly that we should, then they'll have to. But they're very cost sensitive. That's all. I'll say it that way.
But they're basically rebuilding the house, and framing for
Right.
window is,
Right.
a couple $100, and the project's going to be several hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it would certainly look nicer in the community.
Okay. Yeah. Bob, I won't.
You can blame the architecture.
What would be great
review
is if we
board.
could just say if there's a, want to add a window on that one side, that we could
Yes.
give us an approval, because there's time sensitivity to get going. And then we certainly can add that window. I can do a markup right now and email that to Daisy or something to cover it.
I would. Brendan, Travis, you guys have comment?
No, that makes sense.
No, I agree with your comments. Yeah, I just didn't understand the scope. If it was to be built exactly the way it was before, or would there have been just like you said, if you could change it, you can.
That's Tom.
I
I
don't
think
know.
Tom is still here, so he might be able to elucidate on what the
Well,
rule really is. But
yeah, I didn't know what you were talking about with the whole planning board and doing something different in the 2-year window. But
Let me jump in. When a building has a catastrophic event, a fire, an explosion, you have up until 24 months to replace it in kind before you have to go back to get permissions from the beginning of the process.
okay.
Being this is an accessory structure, it would have had to go back to the planning board if it went longer than 24 months.
Over the 24 months, yeah.
And then everything would have been revisited from the start, the design, shape, size, everything goes back to square one, and even the possibility of having it.
Yeah.
But because this is, if you want to use the term grandfathered, because it was there for 24 months, they have the time to rebuild it, but they have to rebuild it in kind by size and shape. They can't increase the non-conformity. Doesn't mean that they can't embellish on the fenestration. It just means they can't make it bigger, longer, taller. So that's where we're at.
Okay, I got you.
So yeah, if you can add something to north elevation, an appropriate window that matches, we would approve you.
okay. So I can mark that on, and I'll email that markup to Daisy.
Are you okay with that if he does that and he email it to me?
If the board agrees, that's fine.
Okay, well, we'll agree to that.
Okay.
Great.
All right. So you can get that to me by the morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
You too.
Okay. So I emailed our last application for 517 King. Let me just check my emails quickly. It's a friendly reminder. We're on.
Okay, dear.
Hello?
Hello, 517 King.
You're on? Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't see, I saw Paul.
Okay. I got to admit, I haven't done a Zoom meeting other than with my sister, and I haven't done an ARB in about 10 years, but I represent Emilio Escaladas and the homeowner.
Okay, are you able to share your screen?
Yeah, you can undo the video in that corner.
Yes, just a second.
Right there.
Right there.
There you go.
Okay, just a second. There we are. There,
And you represent the architect?
and the homeowner, yes.
Okay.
This was an existing garage that was had a fire the last week in January. It's still kind of questionable whether the origins were the electrical that the insurance wrote up, since there was a fire about 100 yards away a week later. So this was an existing structure, the same size. You use the term grandfathered. Probably some of this was grandfathered. The owner has been there for 32 or 3 years, and it's been there. So he's just trying to replace the structure that was destroyed in the fire.
Okay. So we
Now,
can't
do
see
you-
your plans. Are you able to share your screen?
Yeah, for some reason, I'm having that difficulty. You're not,
No, and I
okay.
can see this.
Now, you, Daisy, you have the copy of the plans?
Yes.
And there were pictures that were sent to you, I believe.
Yes. Let me see what I have here. Hold on one second. Can you see that?
There we go. There, yeah. Well, there, yeah, that's the architect.
Okay, so I'm gonna scroll, I'm gonna scroll down and you just do the talking, okay?
Okay. All righty. So the basic structure is 24 by 22. It's a one-car garage with a shed built in. And that's what was basically there before. On the right side, where the shed portion, it was really two sheds that made that up. But now it's just going to be one open shed. And that's for storage for kayaks and lawn tractors. And
I'm just gonna scroll down to the pictures
yeah,
of the existing
okay.
home and the
So
neighboring
you,
homes. And you just
see
let
it?
us know what is what.
okay. So that picture where you're seeing the sheds to the right and then the garage structure.
So is that a photo of the garage before the fire?
That's what it looked like last summer.
Okay.
Yes. Now, this fire was, I believe, the last week in January.
Is this the home?
That's the home, and that would be, oh, that's when the roofer was working. Okay. I haven't seen these pictures. The homeowner said doesn't. Okay, so that's the style that the garage would be recreated in architecturally, the exterior. Yeah, you see it snowbound in the back. Yeah, these are all representative pictures of the property, and the homeowner is very intent on keeping it to look like the country farmhouse that it always has been. Yeah. That's far more than a few pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now we're at the bottom where there is no garage whatsoever now. Well,
So we'll go to the plans now.
so, like I said, on the left side would be a one-car garage with an overhead garage door. And then on the right, it would be more like a barn-style door to house lawn equipment, tractor, kayaks, etc. And there would be a loft. Well, the attic space would be for, just small storage. But it's just a simple two-car garage. I guess the question really is going to come up. It was built originally on the corner of the property within not even a foot, but X amount of inches from the corner. So I know that comes up with the building department and setback and fire and replace as is. So, but aesthetically, the look of it is to mimic the house itself in the way it was.
Does your neighbors see this? I see the left elevation facing
Well,
the neighbor is blank. Does the neighbor? see the
Well, what it
structure?
is, it's commercial. That's where the fire department is. And there are plans pending on what the fire department is
Oh, the
going to
animal
do.
hospital, I see. Okay.
Yeah, used to be, yeah. And then the back is the daycare center.
That parking lot, yeah.
Yeah. So right there are no residential neighbors. And
the wood
Yes.
siding and roofing gonna match the house? Is that the intent?
Match the house. The owner is adamant about he's a country gentleman farmer. He takes care of his own property, and he's just giving up the painting on the high spots of the house himself. But he is very adamant about keeping it. I guess this is, well, in that corner, the original part of the house was built, I want to say about 130 years ago.
All right.
The back part of the house, when you saw those pictures, and that was always kept to look like the existing house, but those were additions done by a previous owner, I believe in the mid 1980s.
Travis, Brandon, any comments?
Yeah, looks nice. Looks like a nice little replacement.
Yeah, I mean, it's killing him now because he's got his lawn tractor, everything is on the tarp sitting back there. And he gets to see all that commercial, what kind of waste space back there, all the parking lot. And I guess I know there's something going forward with the fire department, but that's been taking years, I guess.
Okay, I think it looks nice. Brandon,
Yeah, it looks
any
good.
comment?
Yeah, no, it's handsome for a little shed garage. It's good.
Okay, you're approved, sir. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Okay, so we got 4 approvals and 1 no-show.
Okay,
So I'll add Picarillo to the next one. I think we already have about 5 for our next
Right.
meeting. So all good.
okay.
All right.
Scott and Robert, this is kind of a typical evening for us. We had a sign, we had some mostly residential, reasonably typical, I think. Some nights are longer and some are shorter. But
Very good.
okay,
Thanks for joining. Have a good night, everyone.
thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for having me.
Good night. Bye-bye.